So this movie just goes to show that the world would be so much better if there were two Robert Pattinsons instead of one. Greetings my fancy viewers, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be reviewing Mickey 17, directed by Bong Joon-ho and also stars Robert Pattinson, and is based off the book by Edward Ashton. The film takes place many years in the future where our world has been just destroyed by overpopulation and pollution, so a failed politician sends off a bunch of people to find a new planet to colonize. And that's where Mickey comes in. Mickey is what you call a expendable. He is somebody that goes out there and is pretty much a guinea pig. He's a test subject for this politician to test all of these different things to make sure this home planet they're going to is inhabitable, pretty much. And every time that he dies, he gets reprinted into his new self. And this one is based off the 17 Mickey that's been reprinted, hence the title, Mickey 17. They put Mickey through a ton of shit in this movie. They make him go out there and breathe the air of the new world they're at to make sure it's breathable. Turns out it's poisonous to our lungs. They make him test all these different foods and all these different things on the planet to make sure they can make vaccines for their human colonization on this new planet. They make him go through so many things to the point where he's like, I'm just used to dying. Like, I've died 16 times. Like, I'm kind of used to it by now. So, I loved this movie. It has such a unique premise. I've never read the book, but I immediately want to read it after watching this movie. I loved Mickey 17. It was such a chaotic, fun ride. This was my most anticipated film of the year, and I'm happy to say it met almost all my expectations. But I can say, this is my favorite movie of the year so far. I loved this movie. Bong Joon-ho is a genius director. He's made so many great films like Snowpiercer and Parasite, and I'm a huge fan of like movies that take place in an apocalyptic snowy weather location. And this film, Mickey 17, takes place in that kind of environment. So I was already locked in to see this. I was super excited, and man, this movie rocks. The clear highlight of the film is easily Robert Pattinson. Him having to play two different characters in the movie because in the film, they think that Mickey 17 died, so they print Mickey 18. Well, it turns out Mickey 17 didn't die, so now you have two Mickeys that are going all over the place on this spaceship that they're at. And these two characters are pretty much polar opposites, yet they're the same person. Mickey 17 is kind of a shy, quiet guy. He likes to stick to himself. And Mickey 18 is just an absolute prick. He's way too overconfident. He's an absolute ass. So the fact that Robert Pattinson has to play two different characters here is absolutely just hilarious. I loved his performance. Him playing two completely polar opposites, yet it's the same character. It's such a great performance. One of my favorite performances of the year, by far. He's just so charming on the screen. Like, everything that he does with these characters is so great. It's so unique, seeing two different personalities but for the same character. It's such an ingenious idea, and it works so well for this movie. And also with Robert Pattinson, with his performance, he does a unique voice for the character. I mean, through the whole film, he kind of talks like, you know, his balls are being squeezed. He talks like this with the whole movie, you know, a bit of a high-pitched tone voice. But at the same time, it doesn't get annoying. Like, he sells the performance of that accent so well, and there's not one moment in the film where the accent, like, goes away. He sticks with it through the entire film, and it's great. It surprisingly doesn't get annoying at all. It's such a good, unique, charming voice for the character. Like him, like, you know, being very secluded into himself, yet, you know, he's kind of charming at the same time. The voice is perfect for this character. It kind of sounds like Steve Buscemi, to be honest. Like, it sounds just like him. And as for the other performances, they're great too. Especially Mark Ruffalo, who is clearly playing an imitation of Trump. This film is one giant middle finger to Trump because Mark Ruffalo plays this failed politician who's an absolute prick and an absolute ass, makes everything up on the fly. He's just an absolute dick. You just can't help but hate him every time you see him. And even his supporters in the movie wear red hats. I mean, this film is just one giant parody of Trump, and this film sells it so well. I mean, even Mark Ruffalo's performance sounds like Trump. He does, hand movements like Trump. He even talks like this. He talks like this. I have the greatest place on Earth. This is the greatest planet. No planet will be better than this one. This is the greatest planet ever. I am so sorry for the imitation. That was terrible, but you get what I mean. It's such a clear middle finger to Trump. Him playing this absolute dickhead, just absolute buffoon. This is just one giant just fuck you to Trump this whole movie. I love to see that. And that's where the main themes of the film really start to come in about its political messages. Bong Joon-ho is no stranger to having his films be entirely about politics, whether it be about social class issues, working class, food industry. Bong Joon-ho is a genius director when it comes to having satire about politics. And this one, I think, is close to his best work. I don't think it's better than Parasite, but man, it is very close. The amount of just parody and just political messages about how Trump is an absolute prick and the worst president ever, he sells that so well on this film with the writing and directing for Mark Ruffalo's character. In fact, I can already see it now. All these fucking stupid YouTubers gonna be like, this movie's too woke, this movie's so woke because it makes fun of Trump. Just fuck off all those people, honestly. Like, the movie's not woke, it's a parody, like, come on. And the political themes of Mickey's character is about how he's the working class, how he works in these terrible working conditions, keeps on dying over and over again, yet the president of his space colony doesn't give a shit. He's like, oh, you're an expendable, you're here to be expended, you're here to just die off, do your job, come back, die again, over and over and over again. I don't care about your well-being, you're not even a real person, you're just cannon fodder. And when you think about how countries raise people right now and treat people right now, and that's a pretty relevant topic right now because how countries treat their citizens is not great. I mean, countries raise people to just go fight in wars don't want to fight in, to go and work in terrible working conditions, and to just do our politicians' bidding until we die off for the next poor soul to come in and finish the job. Like, that's how politicians kind of treat their people, and countries treat their people. So this film has an excellent moral and themes of the working class, how they're mistreated, how these government politicians don't give a shit. Like, this film is ingenious with its political themes. I loved it. Bong Joon-ho is an absolute masterclass at political satire and political storytelling. He does a phenomenal job. And even though this film has a pretty heavy subject of these political themes, it's still wildly entertaining. Because this is a fun sci-fi operatic adventure of Mickey just dying over and over and over again to help his people. Yeah, he figures out more mysteries going around the space colony, figure out more about this politician's plan. It's just a super entertaining film. I love sci-fi movies, and this one is a great ride. And the effects look great too. It is beautifully shot. One of the best looking films that come out this year. I loved the way it looks. Like I said, I love snowy environments. I love the way how this film looks. And even though I said that the political storytelling is ingenious, I do think it is a bit over the top in some cases. That is my main complaint about the film, is that I think it's a bit too in your face, hammer over the head, like, hey, here's a political message. In fact, how much of Mark Ruffalo's character is a parody of Trump. I think this film is a bit too heavy-handed in some cases, and I think maybe if they just pulled back a little bit with the satire, it would have been maybe a much more timely film, because I feel like maybe 10 years from now, like, this film is not going to age too well. And I think my other complaint about the film is how there are a few plot lines that don't really go anywhere. Like Steven Yeun's character, he is like out there just selling drugs on the space colony, and you think that's going to go somewhere in the story, but it kind of doesn't. And there's something revolving around Toni Collette's character, how she's just trying to just kill all these like animals on this planet to make sauce. Yeah, she's obsessed with like ketchup and sauces. Weird character, but funny nonetheless. But in my opinion, this film was great. I think it looks great. I love the environment. I love the sci-fi theme and just premise of Mickey coming back over and over and over again. It's such an entertaining film. I absolutely loved it, even though it's a bit too, hammer over the head of, its political themes. Even though I do think it is a very smart political theme to put in this film. I think this film is absolutely great. My favorite of the year so far. Absolutely loved it. Please go out and see it. Support Bong Joon-ho and his movies. He is a genius. Which is why I would love to give Mickey 17 the Diamond Top Hat. I apologize if this film review was a little bit too political, but it's a political satire movie about an important message, so I thought I'd go ahead and throw my 2 cents in there too. To all my fans and viewers out there, thank you so much for watching, but it's your first time hearing like we've seen, be sure to subscribe for more content. And have you seen Mickey 17? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. I hope you have a fantastic night, and as always, stay fancy.